conclude, Mr. Chairman, if I may, with a few comments on the Challenge for Change report that was released yesterday. I picked one up, went home and read it, and I must say I'm sorely disappointed in the output of this process in which no small amount of government money was expended. In case you haven't studied this briefly, at least as my interpretation, the Secretary of Administration will issue challenges to units of state government. The challenge will say, your challenge, if you care to accept it, this is voluntary, is to learn how to get by on 3% less money than you had last year. Well, there's certain plausibility to that. In light of what I just said about the core function, performance review, and the structure of government, this is really superficial stuff. You may remember, I'm sure you do, Mr. Chairman, that in 93 or 93, I believe it was, Governor Dean came out short on the budget and decreed a 1% cut in every function of government, except debt service. Now, the mathematics worked. The 1% yielded enough money to balance the budget, QED. However, we all know that some functions of state government are inefficient, fat, and others are hard-pressed and doing very important services. And just to lock 1% off of everybody reflects, I think, an almost abandonment of good practice. Your job here every year in the budget bill is to portion the available revenues among things that the majority of this chamber, these chambers, find compelling. We have those fights every year, as you all know. That's inevitable, and it's not a bad thing, because you are the people's legislature, and you must reflect the values that have brought you up here to this building. I think that the Challenge for Change report was, in fact, offered no examples of anything. It said if you lock 8% off Department A, they'll say, why $1 million? Yeah, well, sure. Locked off 100%, you save the whole budget. I mean, this doesn't make any sense. You've got to really go in and see how you can achieve efficiency where a program is worthwhile, scrap programs that have outlived their usefulness, as President Obama said, modify programs that are heading the wrong way and turn them away you think is right, or privatize the function to contractors who often can do it more efficiently than state employees, which of course is why state employees are so constantly outraged about the horrible P word. Mr. Chairman, I brought along my inevitable handouts, including notably the piece that I just quoted from that was in the papers last week, Charting a Path Away from Insolvency. I pretty much summarized that. On the back of my notes here are 4 or 5 books on the subject of how to do this. I call one to your attention, Revolution at the Roots, Making Our Government Smaller, Better, and Closer to Home, Bill Eggers and John O'Leary. Ethan Allen Institute brought Bill Eggers here in late 2002 for a 2-day seminar called Making Vermont Government Work, at the time when Governor Dean's administration turned into the Douglas administration. I have great respect for him, and this is 15 years old, but still very much worth reading. And just to balance my fulsome praise of President Obama, I will ask you to take note that this is endorsed by New Cambridge. Have I covered all the bases?